What's going on? Yo, what's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I'm always your host, Edwin. See if we can get this. It seems like shit is not working today. All right. Let's see if we can get these effects working. Do you guys hear these effects? Let me know you guys hear me loud and clear out there. Where do all fights start?
Round one.
All right. Let's get this show going. Haven't been on in a little while, but let's go on and let's talk boxing. Hopefully you guys are tuning in and catch the show. I know I've been a little bit all over the place, so it's a little tough like catching me right now within the training that I'm doing and everything else. And uh but yeah, always gonna keep the channel alive, and we will be right back at it after November 8th. You know, we would definitely be streaming. Hopefully, I, you know what I'm saying, get that victory. You know, get more people to come to the channel and talk more boxing with us. Um, Definitely, we want that. So, let me just set up here, set up the rest of everything I had here going. Uh, I don't know. Lately, it's been the internet's been like messing up lately. What is going on right now? Yeah, I gotta clean. I'm gonna have to do some cleaning on my computer or something. Everything's running like really slow and it's like jiggering around or whatever. But let's talk boxing, guys. So a lot of people talking about this fight. This is a fight that I want. I want. You were like 20 something days out from the fight. Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney, and a lot of people are wondering, you know, or flip flopping back and forth, who would win this fight? Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney. Now, I've talked about this fight several times, and I'm going to lay out the foundation of the conversation right now. I'm going to lay out the foundation of the conversation, and I'm going to tell you guys right now what I think about this fight real quick, right? Devin Haney's supposed to beat Brian Norman Jr. on paper. We've talked about this. On paper, Brian Norman Jr. should not be in the ring with a fighter such as Devin Haney. Not yet. Well, the fact that he does have that WBO title kind of nowadays would award him a fight with Devin Haney? Yes, because he's the champion 147, not Devin Haney. But if we were to look at who their opponents were and what they achieved in their careers, Devin Haney's career, he has accomplished a lot more than Brian Norman Jr. And Devin Haney is not the youngest fighter in the ring anymore. Once upon a time, Devin would go into these fights, he would be the younger fighter. In this situation, Brian Norman Jr. is the younger fighter, I think by 2 years. Devin Haney's 27 now. He's getting up there in age. But he's accomplished a lot more than Brian Norman Jr. So if that's the case, if if Brian Norman Jr. really doesn't belong in the ring with Devin Haney because of the type of opponents, of the career that they have made, then why is it so many people believe Brian Norman Jr. is a real threat to beat Devin Haney? The reason why is because Brian Norman Jr. has proven, to the boxing world, he has great skills, good power, good fundamentals, and he will sit there and trade with you. Brian Norman Jr. ain't running from no one in that ring. And he has shown that he is a real threat. Have we ever been in a situation in boxing where the guy coming up is challenging the champion, and the champion turns around and says, "Why would I fight you? You ain't fight nobody." But the guy's telling him, "Yeah, but I'm trying to fight you. I ain't fought nobody yet, but I'm trying to fight you." Right? And then sometimes people say, this guy's trying to get a free ride to the top. He's trying to get a free ride to the top of my hard work and success without putting in any work himself. So there's two ways people can view that. And I can understand. I can understand that, because I'm going to tell you right now, Boots Ennis did not deserve a shot at the time with Terrence Crawford. At the time, Boots Ennis at the time had no belts. At once upon a time, Boots Ennis had no belts. He was calling out Terrence Crawford, and everybody was like, Terrence Crawford is ducking Boots Ennis. Bullshit. They were in two different trajectories. They were in two different places in their career at different times. They were fighting at the exact same era, but Terrence Crawford was way ahead of Boots Ennis in his career. Who the fuck was Boots Ennis at the time? At the time, when he did not have any belt and he was calling out Terrence, we all felt, you're pulling on Superman's cape. All you're doing is trying to pull on Superman's cape and get a free ride to the top. We've seen fighters do that. But in this case, that is not the case. That is not the case in this case. Why? Brian Norman Jr. has the belt. He has value. That's why he's not tugging on Superman's cape. Actually, Superman is asking him for a favor, for a handout. Can I fight you for your belt? Because I ain't got one. And I'm supposed to be Superman, Devin Haney. You see what I'm saying? He handing out, he out there with his hand out like this. Yo, you think you can give me a shot at your belt? And Brian Norman Jr. accepted the challenge against a challenger that on paper, I'm not talking about the Ryan Garcia debacle. I'm not talking about that ass whooping Ryan Garcia put on Devin Haney. Okay? Because out of all the excuses the boxing world wants to make for Devin Haney, here's an excuse you can't make. Yes, Ryan Garcia is a cheater. Yes, he got caught with Austrian. Yes, it was a tampered fight. But you know one thing you can't take away? That ass whooping. You can't take it away. His body recorded that. Devin Haney's body. And although the victory was tarnished from Ryan's side and Devin technically has no losses, does not mean he did not suffer that ass whooping in that ring that night. That's what I saw. No matter what the outcome was, he took that ass whooping. You can't erase that. Not from his face, not from his body, not from his mind. You can't take that out of Devin Haney. That's where we're at. That's where the whole entire boxing world is at. What version of Devin Haney are we going to get? Is that where you're at? That's where I'm at. If you're thinking like me, you're thinking, here it is, Devin Haney, this young fighter, fucking talented as hell. He's got talent. He's got skills. Good fighter. This pillow fist rumor that they have. No, he's just fighting better competition. That's all. You're just not knocking out Loma. You weren't just knocking out George Kamboza. Tio couldn't knock him out in his prime when Tio was a knockout machine. So it goes to show you, Loma finally stopped George with a body shot, and because that chin was holding up. So the only thing Devin was fighting were better competition. Guys that can roll with punches that are a lot harder to knock out. Not impossible. You could knock them out. But that's what it is. Pillow fisted, Devin? I don't think he's pillow fisted. I don't think he has like one punch, walk off, knockout power. No. But at the end of the Regis Prograis fight, did you guys see Regis Prograis' face? Bro, it looked like he had a whole bunch of kisses. You know, like when a girl kisses you with lipstick? That's what Regis' face looked like. He was dotted the fuck up. He was like this, bubbled up. Devin marked him up, bro. I would like to see Regis' face the day after the fight when everything swells up and the in swell, because when you're in a fight, it's fucking double. When they put that in swell on your face, what they're doing is they're forcing the swelling to stay down. And by doing so, the next day, yo, that shit almost doubles in size. Whatever bruise you were going to have that your corner was forcing down so that you're able to see, you know what I'm saying? So that your face don't swell up, the next day, bro, your face is going to be like this. I would like to see Regis Prograis' face the next day after that fight. So I'm saying, all right, Devin Haney doesn't have a sledgehammer. He doesn't have a sledgehammer. But would you want to get hit by a sledgehammer one time, get knocked out? Or you want to get hit by a bone peen hammer all fucking night? Ping, 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 ping. That shit's got to hurt. So I think Devin got enough pop. I don't think he's got more pop than Brian Norman Jr. No. No. But the problem is, I believe in Devin Haney's footwork. I believe in Devin Haney's evading ability. He's not going to stand there and allow Brian Norman Jr. to fire off on him those big shots. Like the Mexican dude, he tried to out-Mexican Brian Norman Jr. and Brian Norman Jr. out-Mexicaned him. That's you know, the dude was too tough for himself. When he won the interim belt, Brian Norman Jr. on that night. And with Jin Sasaki, right, Brian baited him. The Jin dude was he was lost. And when Brian saw that he was lost, he read him perfect. Brian Norman Jr. read that Japanese dude, Jin, like a book. Okay? When you can tell in the moment that the guy is doing what you're doing because he has nothing left. His angles, his jab is not getting to you. It's not getting to you. It's not whatever you're doing, he's shutting you down. So now what you do is left mimicking what he's doing. Yo, Brian Norman Jr. read that like this. He said, hold up. Are you doing what I'm doing? He said, Brian Norman Jr. said, hold up. I'm a jab stab downstairs to the body. Jab stab down to the body. The Japanese dude tried to do the same fucking move. Jab stab to the body. Brian Norman Jr. stepped around that shit. Boom! And laid him out, bro. Yo, it was crazy. What's up, guys? Okay, let me read some of y'all messages. Let me catch up to y'all. Brian Norman Jr. by KO 8th round. Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. is going to look like Danny Garcia versus look, Amir Khan. Amir Khan had a glass jaw though. Amir Khan at some point he got what we call chinny in the gym. He got chinny, bro. Everybody was knocking that dude out. And yo, highly skilled dude. Amir Khan, yo, his offense, his fight game, when he's not fucking around and he's really like in the gym, bro, that dude can fight, man. Boy, was he fast as fuck, boy. Amir Khan, oh my God. I've seen Amir Khan fight in some fights when he really like trained, like Amir, because guys like him, they're so talented. To tell you the truth, behind the scenes, they don't train that good. You see those dudes in the gym maybe twice a week, 3 times, if that. You see them skip gym because they rely on their God-gifted ability too much. Too much. Floyd was unique in the way that he had everything and hard work, dedication put on God-given talent. That's when you've seen the best of the best. Fighters like that. Naoya Inoue, Usyk, Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Fighters like that have God-given ability, but also train very hard. And Amir Khan is just chinny, bro. That I can't. Yo, I don't think he's gonna knock Devin out like that. Salute, Koki. Haney won't have the chin. Oh my God, Koki's like, he's on it too. Koki's like, yeah, he ain't gonna have the chin. But when did we ever see Devin Haney rocked in a fight? Linares, right? He did a little stanky leg. He took that punch like a champ. Remember, at the time, what was Devin Haney when he fought him? How old was he? 20 years old? Against a seasoned fighter? Remember what was at stake here? That dude was a grown-ass man. Already competed and fought Loma, world champions, like, already. He gets in there with Devin Haney, hits Devin. You're in a fight. You're supposed to get hit. The fact that Devin Haney did the stanky leg and everybody's like, oh, he did the stanky leg. He like, wobble. Did he lose the fight? Did he go down? Did he get knocked down? That's all you guys got. Is to say that he did a stanky leg. In a fight, you're taking chances. You're taking risks. The odds that you go by a 20-year career without ever doing the stanky leg, getting knocked down or anything. Even Floyd did the stanky leg once or twice in his career. When Shane Mosley caught his ass. Y'all seen him rock his knees buckled like this when Zab Judah caught his ass. So, and he's the greatest to ever do it. So, I mean, Devin doesn't have a glass chin. He has never been knocked out. Never. Devin got rocked by Ryan. And what I saw was a young man go down 5-6 times. That's the truth. That referee might have not counted those knockdowns, but they happened. We saw them. So besides the 3 knockdowns that they did award Ryan, tag on another 2 or 3 knockdowns they didn't count. That man got knocked down 6 times in that fight. Roughly. And Devin got up. If Devin was chinny, he should have got knocked out by that first check hook. Should have knocked his ass out. Not even that. What about the one that dropped him late? When Ryan caught him flush, that his cheek went like this. Remember when Devin Haney's cheek popped up like he looked like a gerbil who was hiding food, right? His cheek was like this. Devin got up. Devin got back up. So I was like, oh shit. He's not per se chinny, I wouldn't say, rather than me saying that Ryan got power. Because Ryan Garcia has proven he has power. Knocked out Nick Campbell, knocked out homeboy's Mulder. His back tooth popped right out of his face. Ryan got power. Ryan's either knocking you out, stopping you in his fights, as a matter of fact. Look at Ryan Garcia. He's got power, bro. So I'd rather take it that Ryan Garcia got power and he just was a bigger, stronger fighter than Devin. That's what put Devin down. Yeah, that it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? You get hit that flush, Devin went down. But I don't think that Devin's chinny to like real chinny dudes. Like dudes you just be like tap down, baby. Those dudes is chinny. Like Amir Khan, definitely chinny, bro. Definitely. If it wasn't for the fact that he can no longer take punches, punch resistance, Amir Khan could have kept fighting, you know, but he was just getting knocked out, bro. Just everybody was knocking him out. His punch resistance wasn't there anymore. Another guy that had a lot of skills, but eventually, like his punch resistance wasn't there, was like Gamboa. Gamboa, after Terrence Crawford knocked out Gamboa, Gamboa was getting knocked out by everybody. Yo, didn't like fucking, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he saw people Cruz beat him? Tank Davis beat him. Terrence Crawford beat him. Like everybody was whooping on him after that. He just couldn't. He was real skilled still on the top. He can move good, everything, just like Amir Khan. They just pop out. They're punch resistant. They couldn't take it. And it would slow them down in the fight, and they would perform less. You'd see them, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like, I know he's good. You could see he's good, but those punches will slow you down just a tenth of a second for that guy to hit you with another combination to put you down. That's kind of what would happen to him. Brian Norman Jr., his age is equal to Devin. Former opponents, the Haney opponents, all been guys who are 30 to 42 years old, past their prime. Haney, first 19 opponents, had losing records. Yeah. The majority of a lot of your opponents starting off are going to have losing records. When you think about the beginning of a person's career, you also have a small record. Meaning when Devin Haney was fighting these guys with losing records, his record must have been like 7-0, 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, 11-0, 12-0. Do you get it? He also only had like 10 fights when he was fighting these guys with losing records. So you're building your fighter at that moment. And with the stigma that Floyd Mayweather put on all fucking boxing world, you got to be undefeated. You got to be undefeated, right? That we're looking in real time, even Floyd Schofield pulling out of this fight, because I think for Jojo Diaz, I would have never believed that coming off that performance with Tevin Farmer, but they're so scared in the boxing world to take a gamble and a risk of taking a loss that it stops these kids from competing. No one wants to lose. You know, and Jojo Diaz already lost, so he's not afraid to go in there and mix it up. But Floyd Schofield, the Schofields, they feel like they want to retire undefeated. Like their whole agenda is to retire better than Floyd Mayweather. You know? And all their excuses are, this guy didn't do this, or this guy didn't do this, so we're doing this. He didn't do this, or he didn't do that, so we're doing... No, fuck what everybody else is doing or has done. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? That's how we need to, like, judge some of these fighters. I don't know about the score. I don't even want... Man, listen. There's something else, bro. I was shocked to hear that news yesterday that he pulled out the fight. You know, and as far as Devin Haney, Koki, like, you know, his opponents and shit, right, Koki? Devin record really is not no different than anybody else's record. It's really not. I mean, if you look at who do you want to look up? Tank Davis? Who do you want to look up? Terrence Crawford? Naoya Inoue? Who do you want to look up? Who do you want to look up? Usyk? Who do you want to look up? Like, I'm probably sure you're going to find guys at the beginning of their career, but when you when you do that, you got to ask yourself, yeah, it was the beginning of their career. So technically, they also only had 4 or 5 fights, 6 fights, 7 fights. You see what I'm saying? So, that's when you're supposed to kind of fight those fights to see if your guys can get by that gauntlet. Once you get past that, what did you do after that? I have to admit, Koki, when's the last time you ever heard Devin Haney be accused of ducking smoke? Write it in the chat. Who did he ever duck? Devin Haney. I'm asking a question. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, so I need a little help with this. If there was anybody, because I can't remember. I don't recall anyone that ever called out Devin Haney, that Devin Haney didn't turn around and say, what? You want to fight who? Me? Because Loma called him out. And I felt like Devin Haney was in the right at that time to tell him, go fuck yourself. And you vacated your belt not to fight me at 19. That's how this all started. And I was upgraded to the WBC, Devin Haney. He could have felt some kind of way towards Loma. But Devin Haney knew the population, was going to say to him, nah, you're ducking Loma. So he knew under scrutiny, he was going to hear it. Devin felt like he wasn't going to win that argument. Nah, Loma challenged. But you guys don't want to talk about when I challenged Loma and he said no to me? Like everybody wants to overlook what fucking Loma did and they'll bash Devin Haney. So Devin was like, I'll fight you. I can't remember the last time Devin ever ducked any smoke. Let me go down in the chat just in case anybody put something down there. Haney's movement slowed. He won't know Shakur smoke. Shakur Stevenson, right, is the type of fighter that once people figure out what he's doing, I want to see what he does next. It's been a long time that nobody has figured Shakur Stevenson out. And I'm just waiting for that right coach-fighter combination to take away what Shakur does best. Shakur Stevenson, the secret to his success is that Shakur Stevenson fights mostly off the back foot. He has this posture in his lean where that all he has to do is move his waist like this, and he'll slide back 6 to 7, 8 inches like that big, just enough for you to miss, and just enough speed where he's back in range. Shakur Stevenson knows how to dance. He knows how to dance. Okay? And meaning, when I say dance, box. That's what I'm saying. I'm referring dancing to boxing. He knows how to box. When Shakur Stevenson slips back like that, the way that he's so close to you, and he is fast, but he's not lightning fast. His timing and his movement are in sync. He's really fucking good at that. And I mean exceptionally good. The way he rocks and stands in the pocket and rolls his shoulders. And the reason why guys are swinging and hitting air and can't hit him, and they're like, he was just right here. Why is it that I can't hit him? They're not noticing. They've already let him set himself in his ways. He's already on that back foot, leaning forward, giving you the impression that he's a lot closer than what he actually is. That's why fighters are missing him. What you got to do with Shakur, you can't let him sit there. You can't let him sit and settle in like that. And if you do let him settle in, you got to break that up by bulldozing in. You can't meet Shakur Stevenson at what he's the best at, you're not going to beat him. You can't stand in front of him. You're never going to beat him like that. That little trick that he does with his back foot in his waist, and the way like Floyd used to do it with the pull counter. He would pull counter you. And Shakur Stevenson lives inside of the pull counter movement. You have to understand that. He lives inside of the pull counter movement. He's constantly in that pull counter stance. He doesn't leave it. He doesn't want to break out of it. The perfect example of that when he did it was against that Josh Padley dude. Because Josh Padley had no idea what Shakur was doing. He couldn't hit him. And Shakur, it looked like Shakur was standing right in front of him. But you got to pay attention to the subtle things that are going on in the ring. And how Shakur was rocking back on his back foot. And he was edging his waist forward. He wasn't actually close to him. He was leaning like this. And all he had to do was go like this. And he was that far away from Josh Padley's hands. Josh Padley couldn't understand it. He was like, man, he's right fucking there. Like, Shakur's deadly with those moves. In order to beat Shakur Stevenson, you got to take him out of that. Now, if anybody can do that, and they figure that out, I want to see what he does next. Because, for instance, all the greats have a plan B. You see, when Floyd Mayweather was so dominant, he was beating dudes with his hands, right? But his hands started breaking. Every fight, broken hand, broken hand, broken hand, broken hand. So Floyd had to change his fighting style. He was no longer a puncher boxer, more of a technician. He had to turn into a technician where that he was more elusive and was beating you on points. He completely changed his fighting style from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Floyd. Those were two different fighters. Way different fighters. Pretty Boy Floyd was an animal. He was a fucking beast. So that's what I want to see about Shakur. Is Shakur a one-trick pony? Yes or no? I gotta know. But nobody's been able to match him with those skills. Like Shakur Stevenson hasn't had his Zab Judah. He doesn't have his Shane Mosley. He doesn't have, he has them. He just hasn't fought them because we haven't seen what Tank and him would look like, right? Am I right? You know, him and Teal would look, what him and Teal should have looked like. You know, they, not that the fighters weren't there, more like the fighters didn't fight each other. We were supposed to see Floyd Schofield fight him, and I wanted to see what it looked like when, you know what I'm saying, another person with similar skills to see if they can expose Shakur Stevenson. Because right now, you keep putting these dudes in front of him, Shakur is going to beat these guys every day. He's going to beat them all day. But I've just been waiting to see if somebody can figure Shakur Stevenson out. Once you figure him out, right, and the coach figures that shit out, I want to see what he has after that. Because I believe his entire career has been built on that fucking style right there. He doesn't get out of it. I don't know if he's a one-trick pony or if he has anything else. Because he's not like lightning fucking fast, Shakur. There are plenty of active fighters right now that are faster than Shakur Stevenson. You know? So I don't know. That would be a real interesting fight. I the more I think about it. Haney, Haney is basic from Shakur. That's why Loma figured him out. Not that Devin Haney is so basic, right? Devin Haney hasn't completed his training at the time when he fought Loma. I said it. I have videos. Everybody on my channel knows what I feel about Devin Haney. If you guys know. And I've always said it from day one, 3 years ago. I have proof. You guys can go to my fucking records and look up the archives, and they'll be like, hey, Edwin, didn't you say this? And I had to have said it. That's me right there speaking. I said it. Devin Haney's not a finished product. He's not a polished fighter. I said it. I said Devin Haney looks like the type of student that was at the black belt class and was about to be awarded the black belt and said, you know what? I know everything. I'm done with training. Walked off. It's like him and his dad never settled for one trainer, one master. It looks like Devin Haney knows a whole bunch of boxing shit, but never settled in one style. He knows so much that he don't know shit type shit. He's too educated in boxing. Devin, he's been around too many teachers, not one master. Not studying under one master. He had a whole bunch of masters teaching him, but his father thought that if he took him to different styles and different looks, that he would mold one of the greatest fighters. Instead, his son couldn't really attach himself to one particular style. So you can tell that Devin knows a lot. You can tell he can do a lot. He just doesn't know the when and the where because he hasn't been trained by one master consistently enough to believe in what that coach is telling him and to believe in his skills. And that's why Devin Haney runs into problems in the gym, in the ring. That's why Loma figured him out. And that's why Devin is a confused fighter. I'm going to prove it to you. Here's the proof in the pudding. Then Bill Haney himself get on a fucking platform himself and admit right after Jose Ramirez fight with Devin Haney and his coach said, we didn't train Devin Haney like that. We didn't train him to go in there and fight Jose Ramirez like that. What did his father say? I told my son just before the fight, don't fuck up the bag, just do this. There's your proof. He's not taught by one master. He has too many people influence him. He doesn't believe in one teacher. If Devin Haney had one teacher and he believed in his coaching, he would do what the coach said, not what his father said. The fact that your father put you into an entire training camp and on the last day tell you, fuck what I just did with you, I want you to fight this way. What does that say to you? What does that say about your team? What does that say about your preparation? What did that say about the guy that just trained you? Did you not believe in what he was training you to do? There's a problem right there. There's a problem. And Loma figured him out because your dad fucking had you fighting a certain way and believing a certain thing. And then you heard father and son in the corner talking and Devin telling his father, he's got me figured out. He knows what I'm doing. And you know what Bill said? Improvise. You're the champion of the world. Do what you got to do, son. Like, what? Devin's dad, he's got to let Devin stay with one coach. All this bouncing around shit, working with some people, one camp, not this fight, the next fight. You might be familiar with some of the coaches you're still working with today, Devin, and some of the coaches you have worked with in the past. But if they can coach you an entire training camp and on the night of the fight, your father can oversee everything they taught you, then how much belief did you have in that coach about what he prepared for you to do in that fight? If blatantly you and your dad are coming out and saying, nah, well, you know, the coach should go, and I told him to do this. The proof is right there. Devin is not that type of fighter where, you know, I always said it. I felt that was wrong with Devin. I said it for years. That's why I never, not one time in Devin Haney's career, have I ever put Devin Haney on a pound for pound list. Because he's just not ready. He's not a pound for pound fighter, man. He could be, and that's what I was waiting for Devin to get older, to evolve into his man strength, kind of like what I'm expecting Xander Zayas to do. He's 22 years old. I'm expecting him to grow into his man strength. And I said that we would see two halves of Devin Haney. Let's see if his strength shows up. This is it for Devin Haney, really. I mean, now you're 27 years old. I believe you've grown into your man strength by now. This is the fight. This is the fight. You have a strong opponent in front of you, Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. is on a high right now. Devin, your last performance was not good by any stretch of the imagination. I'm willing to give you a pass on it. I think that it was a fight. You were coming off a year layoff. The trauma that you suffered with Ryan and that whole debacle and how you were taking it. And then on top of that, you didn't want to fuck up the bag and you were already paid. The check was already in the bank before your foot stepped in the ring with Jose. So the motivation of you were already paid. And your big fight was the fight that was in front of you. So you might have felt like, don't do too much, Devin. Don't give Jose Ramirez the opportunity to steal the night. And Ryan was the one that fucked up the bag. So much, it must have been so much money because you seen the reaction out of Bill Haney and Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? You seen the kind of reaction they got. So, okay. And you want to know something, Devin Haney? This is it. This is the last time I make an excuse for you for anything. I'm willing to play. I'm willing to play nice right now. I'm willing to play nice. I had a lot of hopes, high expectation for this kid, Devin. But Devin, that's it. That's it. You allowed Ryan Garcia to make you his bitch. Yes, you did. And I'm going to speak blunt and straightforward. All right? You didn't like that last sentence? Then don't let nobody ever treat you like this. Right? And what I mean by that is this. Ryan Garcia was fucking guilty. Ryan Garcia is the one that got caught with the Austrian. Ryan Garcia is the cheater here. And how the fuck did Ryan Garcia come out on top and you got talked about like you were the bag, like you did the Austrian, like you did something wrong? How the fuck did that happen? You know why? Because every move you made was fucking following Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia got suspended for a year and you did the bid with him. It was like he was in jail and you were calling him and going to visit him. You was his bitch. What, you were writing him letters? Ryan, I can't wait till you get out. I can't wait to see you again. Because you put your career on hold for him. You didn't take any fights in between. You didn't show the world you were going to bounce back. Whatever Ryan did, you did. So much, in fact, that Ryan Garcia is the one that cheated. Ryan Garcia is the one that got suspended. Ryan Garcia is the one that got had to pay sanctions and penalties. Ryan Garcia got the victory overturned on his favor. And how the fuck are you the co-main event to Ryan Garcia? How is Ryan Garcia the main event? Bro, you let this dude bitch you in every motherfucking way, Devin. Every way, bro. Every move y'all did from, bro. I was like, the bag was going to be there. You needed to act like you didn't need him. When you got a bad bitch that's around you, right? And and she's not feeling you. right? At the time or something, right? Because you trying too hard. You bringing a bitch fucking flowers, candy, maybe some weed or whatever, you know, depending what kind of chick she is, right? And you over here and you doing bending over backwards. She don't even see you. She doesn't even know you exist, bro. And you kissing her ass every day because she got a fat ass. She look good, right? I guarantee you stop all that shit. No flowers, no, nah. When you come in, what up? And keep it pushing. You ignore them, and for some reason, it attracts them to you. If Devin would have fucking treated her, Ryan, like a fucking skank hoe, right? Ryan would have paid more attention to him. If Devin would have been, I don't need, and would have fought this dude, would have did this, made sure, and he would have been over here like this, they probably would have offered him more money and everything. They probably would have fought in New York when he came back. And it would have been Rolly stealing the night. Devin did everything wrong, bro. He did everything wrong. And that's why I think most of the people looking on the outside, looking in, I think that's why they're giving Devin a lot of scrutiny. Because it was crazy. How the fuck did Ryan come out on top on this? How? Because of the bitch fucking nature you portrayed and did. Talk about I'm taking you to court. We suing you. And publicly, bro, some of those things could have been talked about behind the scenes type shit. We could have made our threats like this. But you know how we do in the hood right away. We start talking about we telling and shit. People push back. I'm telling you, everything he did, it just didn't look good for Devin. But the truth is, the truth, Devin really didn't do anything fucking like to the sense to make me believe that he's a less of a fighter. Like he didn't do anything in my eyes to make me look like, oh, he's just going to get beat up. He's just going to get beat up. He's just going to get wiped down. He's done. He's finished. I haven't seen that yet. We're not there yet. I'm not going to put the cart before the horse and already write him off. Nah, I got to see that shit. I got to see Devin get finished. Because he's not. Devin's not by any stretch of the matter. I'm trying to tell y'all. He's not done. He ain't done by... And if he can beat Brian Norman Jr., then and you guys want to know something? Check it out, right? Devin's supposed to beat Brian Norman Jr. and everything right now. As it stands right now, there's no way Brian Norman Jr. should actually beat Devin Haney. If I'm being honest with you guys. The truth, what the fuck tells you guys? Tell me. He doesn't have a good amateur record. He doesn't have a better amateur record than Devin. Brian Norman Jr. is basically learning on the job. Everything that Brian Norman Jr. has done in his boxing career, Devin's doubled it. Easy. Brian Norman Jr. does not have the experience Devin Haney has. Brian Norman Jr. does not have the experience, not even the sparring that Devin and the amount of fighters that Devin has fought. Brian Norman Jr. has not fought that many guys yet. World champions, none. Every fighter Brian Norman Jr. has sparred with, Devin's been sparred with them a long time ago. Brian Norman Jr. brings nothing, and I mean nothing, to the equation Devin's never dealt with. But when we look at it the other way, Devin Haney brings everything to the table Brian Norman Jr. has never been in the ring with. Name me one fighter that is more skilled than Devin that he fought. Brian Norman Jr. Right there in the chat. There's a chat, and you can put a message and just put his name right there, and we'll look him up right now. Think about it. Think about it. Devin brings everything to the table. He brings a better jab than anybody he's ever fought. He brings a better jab. He brings better footwork, better ring IQ, ring generalship. That means that Devin is going to move and do things that no fighter in front of Brian Norman Jr. he's ever faced has done. But when the shoe's on the other foot, there is nothing, and I repeat, nothing Brian Norman Jr. brings to the table Devin hasn't dealt with. Just think about it. Just think about it. That's what I'm saying. But to the consensus, Brian Norman Jr. is just going to wipe down Devin Haney. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at it and I'm saying, not sure about that. I believe he could win the fight, Brian Norman Jr. It's fucking boxing, bro. Anything can happen in boxing, right? I think Brian possesses enough skill, enough pop. He's pretty fast. And all this stupid shit about him having no footwork or because Brian Norman Jr., his success comes from his power, from his base. He's already, like, he's not coming off of a bounce, right? He's typically not bouncing like that. He's already step, his back foot's down to the front, boom, boom, boom. He throws with a lot of torque and power, Brian Norman Jr. And it works when you got a guy that's willing to exchange with you. It works when you got a guy that's coming in and fighting you like that. That's not so good for a mover, for a guy that moves. Devin Haney. When you guys got a guy that's cutting angles and he's moving, it's going to make you move. And you're going to have to reset. And that's why a lot of people in the boxing world are saying that Brian Norman Jr. looks like he has cement shoes. Because it looks like, but I've seen footage of Brian Norman Jr. in the gym jumping rope. I've seen him move. He just feels that he doesn't have to move against the type of opponents. So time's going to tell what's really going to happen in between the fight between Brian Norman Jr. and Devin Haney and the moving ability. And that's why I don't think Brian Norman Jr.'s success on power. Now, getting or forcing or pushing back Devin Haney to the ropes and firing off on him, that, yes, can happen. Let me show you a flaw, a real flaw in Devin Haney. Devin Haney's, like I pointed out, and I talked about Shakur's secret, about how his success is and stuff. Let me tell you the real true downfall to Devin Haney. When people find this out about Devin Haney, it's not that he can't block the left check hook. A lot of people said it's his defense. He couldn't block the left check hook. That's a fucking lie. It's just, you got your casuals. They don't really know about, the technique about boxing, and that's okay. That's okay. It's a common mistake, but we got channels like this, Round One Sports Talk, where that I'm actually in the gym and I actually train and I go over drills and I know about fighting. I know about real boxing, right? Not just talking about it. I live it, right? So, what happened in the sequence between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, I've always said this, it wasn't his defense at all. It was his selection of weapon. His selection of weapon. Meaning, he didn't work the jab from here and hide it under his shoulder, his chin under his shoulder. He wasn't just snapping it and keeping the line from his head to his toe had to be straight. He didn't do that. He used the bow and arrow jab, where he was extending, his head was passing his front foot, and he was leaving himself vulnerable. That is a different selection of weapon. And by using that weapon, that kind of jab, it left him open, Ryan connected. By you changing the weapon that he used, You're changing the sequence. Oh, no, but if he did this, now you're changing the event. Now it could be his defense, but it's because you're changing it. But it wasn't what he selected to use. He chose the wrong type of jab. See, and he left himself exposed. He got caught. So it's not that it was his defense, Devin Haney's defense. It was his selection of how he started. He started off the combo. Let me start off with the jab this way. You started wrong, buddy. That's all that happened there. That's it. So Devin, it's not that he doesn't had good defense, but where Devin lacks, and he's really hurting, and he has a problem in, is coming out of the high guard off the ropes, being pushed back. Devin doesn't know how to fight going backwards, and that's the truth. He can't. Devin doesn't know how to fight once you're pushing him. He chooses to lock himself in the high guard and then shuffle his feet out. He throws no punches. And he peeks. He like a peekaboo. Peekaboo. He peeks. He doesn't open like this. He peeks. He goes like this. That means that he's blocking his own vision. He looks through it like this. That means at this point he can't see. Devin Haney's real problem is that. That's if you go back right now, right after this, I challenge anybody. Here's some homework for you. Do it for yourself and then get back to me. Go watch Devin Haney spar against Tank Davis, that old footage. Go watch Devin Haney spar against anybody that pushes him back. Tank Davis, and the one I can think of, he does it the best against Devin. You can see in that sparring session, Devin, not one time, and out of the 2 sparring sessions they have, as a matter of fact, I have never in my life ever watched a video or personally watched Devin Haney spar, and that he ever fought good going backwards. Not once, ever. He's vulnerable when he's going back against the rope and he's doing this shit. He's done it his whole career, his whole life. That's a huge flaw. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe anybody that hasn't caught it. But that's where Brian Norman Jr.'s success would come if I was to think about it. Brian Norman Jr. puts Devin against the ropes, there might be a problem. There's going to be a problem. Devin's not good like that. Devin got to keep him at the center of the ring. If Devin can keep Brian in the center of the ring, that's Brian's ass. Brian's all done. Brian can't beat. He's not going to be able to outgun Devin Haney. He's not faster than Devin. And that power, he has to set that up. Devin's not going to be standing in front of him. Brian's done. In the center of the ring, he's all done. He can't beat Devin at that kind of game. But that brute strength game, pushing Devin got problems, bro. That's what makes this fight so intriguing to me, because styles make fights. Styles make fights, man. They really do. And that's why some people avoid a certain style. You know what I mean? That's why I don't give a fuck what all these people are saying. You guys can have your opinions all you want. Virgil Ortiz is not beating Sebastian Fundora. Oh, no, Virgil Ortiz is going to wipe that. If that was true, why didn't he challenge him? If that was fucking true, why hasn't Virgil Ortiz, with 23 fights, 21 knockouts, ever challenged any champion? As a matter of fact, he's so fucking good that young Xander Zion at 22 became a champion before him. I'll wait. You know, hype and knowing what real boxing is, like, I'm on the outside looking in. I'm like, well, I don't think Virgil's ever going to be a champion at this rate. And he's so fucking good, right? I'm like, okay. Virgil Ortiz every division he's been in, never been a this is a fucking puzzle, right? Because he's fucking actually good, right? He's the William Cepeda. He's that guy, the Tevin Farmers, that they're gatekeepers. They're really great fighters. They're just not champion material type shit. And I'm starting to wonder, is Virgil that guy? I never looked at him like that. I always looked at Virgil Ortiz like eventually he's going to be a champion. Eventually. He's got to be a champion somewhere. But it seems like the guys that he's following, Virgil, Terrence left the division. You don't have to be shook. Come outside. Now Jaron Boots Ennis enters. Ain't that a bitch? Terrence leaves and Jaron Boots and like it's like Virgil, like you're gonna have to take a chance. Who the fuck are you gonna fight? Don't even think, Virgil. Ponte loco si quiere. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Challenge Xander because he's the youngest champion. Go ahead, Virgil. Go ahead. I would like to see that. I would like to see that. You think you're so tough, Virgil? You think I'll fuck Xander's right there, bro. In your weight division. Watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth. You keep talking about our Puerto Rican champion, bro. I think he'll pack you up, Virgil. Because you're not showing me that you're him. I can see the skill in Virgil. I think he's good. I just don't believe in him like that, like I once did anymore. Because Sebastian's right there. Fucking, you didn't fight him because of Tim Tszyu. Like, you should have fought at the time. I don't know what to say about Virgil, but I don't know. I mean, I don't want to keep rocking him because there's a lot more I could say right now. I was about to say some shit about Virgil, but I just wish Oscar De La Hoya takes off the training wheels and puts these guys to fight. Because I kind of think, for as much as shit that Oscar talks to, I think he has something to do with it, with Virgil's career. Yeah, I think he has something to do with it. I can't just sit here and put everything on Virgil, because there's two sides of the street. There's two sides of the street. I just don't, like when people try to talk shit about a real world champion when all you got is a fucking interim and you're talking shit about a real champion, Virgil. Oh, that pissed me off. Oh, that pissed me off. He talking like he a killer, like he a champion, like he did some shit. No, Virgil, I don't think you should have said that. The motherfucker was talking gully. Like Xander's belt wasn't shit. Motherfucker, that's a real world champion right there. You ain't got one of those. That kind of pissed me off because you got to respect the champion. It wasn't just because Xander was Puerto Rican and made it that much better for me to talk shit. Yes, it did. But it wasn't just because he was Puerto Rican. No. It was just because he was a champion, and that was the truth. Respect these champions, bro. Respect is sometimes, not always given. It has to be earned. So I think Xander earned my respect and the boxing respect when he went up there and the kind of fight he fought. Because when Chino beat Conwell, we all thought Chino was never going to beat him. And that Conwell was the top prospect contender in the world at 154. And that he was going to be the next champion. He gets bumped off. Xander comes in and pulls that. Man, bro, you earn my respect. But it seems like other fighters and other people don't want to give the young man his respect. And that's cool. Everybody can have your opinion. But you're not going to be the interim champion in the world talking shit to the real champion of the world and think you're going to get away with that. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here, bro. What you think you are? Fucking Tank Davis? Fuck out of here, man. The only boxer in the history of boxing that I can remember that actuality, people were like really confused was when Tank Davis had that regular belt at 135, 130, well, not 130, 135. When he had that regular WBA world title at 135, he was the only man in boxing history that really took that regular belt and challenged the real champion's reputation or recognition of being the real champion, which was Devin Haney or George Camboza. Because during the time, George Camboza had the WBA real belt. He had 3 and the ring when he beat Teal. But Tank at that time had the regular one. Tank was being announced in the ring as what? The 135-pound WBA world champion. Go back and watch his fights. When he was making his ring walk, what did they announce him as? The WBA 135-pound champion. You saw Tank, but how is that possible if the real belt, he had it, then Devin had it? That's the only interim champion. I call the regular belt for the WBA an interim because it's the same fucking thing. It's the same thing. The definition of an interim belt, if you're just joining or want to know this, the difference between an interim world title and a real world title is this, that the interim belt specifies specifically you have a piece of a world championship, a piece. You do not have full status. So wait a minute. If I have a piece of a championship, that doesn't mean that I'm the champion. So if that says that I'm not the champion because I only have a piece, well, then what am I? Not the champion. It's right there in the wording. But the WBA and their fuckery, you know what the WBA wants to say? We have 2 champions at the exact same time, at the exact same weight, and they're both champions. The regular one fights the mandatories, and the super does whatever the fuck he wants. How is that possible? How? The rest of the boxing world and the history books are not honoring their regular champions. Meaning, the entire time Tank Davis was fighting with that regular belt, they're trying to say that Tank Davis has title defenses as a champion. While Devin Haney and George Camboza had the real belt, the super. And they're trying to give him credit and force the history books and the Hall of Fame to acknowledge Tank Davis's title defenses for the regular WBA. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Tank Davis should not get credit for none of that. That's the God honest truth. It's fair, it's what it was, and it's the truth. Why do you want to lie and fuck up the history books? Yes or no? Did Tank Davis have full status of that belt? No, that he's not a fucking champion. You can't win the Vince Lombardi trophy with I almost made the field goal. You think if the Patriots field kicker against the Rams in the first Tom Brady field Super Bowl, you think if that dude kicked the ball and it missed Tom Brady, they're going to award him the trophy? You think if he missed, they can share the Vince Lombardi trophy? And what sport do you share a championship? I'll wait. Can 2 teams be the champion in baseball? Can 2 teams be the champion in the Stanley Cup? Can you play tennis and both of you win the Wimbledon fucking plate there? Can you? Then if you can't do it in any other sport, you can't do it in no sport, then why the fuck can you do it in boxing? How could 2 champions coexist at the exact same? Fuck the WBA. That's why they got taken out of Box Rec. They don't even take that belt serious anymore. And that's a damn shame, man. It's a goddamn shame. That is the first belt in all of boxing, bro. That's the king of all the belts. The reason why any of these other belts exist or got their status, it's because of them. The WBA. They started everything. They're supposed to have their shit together. They're supposed to be leading the way, not the WBC, not the belt that spun off. And the reason why the WBC did that, because they said, you guys are on some fuckery shit. We're going to go off and make our own belt, and we're going to do our own thing. And they did. And they took over. They took over. Once they got those kind of champions behind them representing for their belt, WBC took off. This man, if you ask me, he was in my era though. Look at all the WBC belts, them green belts. They're everywhere. You don't see no WBA, IBF. You don't see no WBO. Where the fuck are those belts at? You don't know. They treated Floyd good. Floyd represented their belt very, very, very well. You know? And they need to get their shit together, bro. That's just some bullshit, bro. You can't have two champions simultaneously and call them champions. One guy fights the mandatory, the other guy does what the fuck he wants. After 5 title defenses for the WBA, it turns into the super. And then the regular belt goes back into the ring and someone else can fight for the regular. And then they'll have, at that moment, 2 champions simultaneously in the same division. And the WBA wants to give credit to both guys as real champions. That's what they're doing. It's what they're doing. It's not good. It's not good for boxing, bro. I don't like it. And Fedora is ass. He tried fighting cherry pick. No, well, Fondora's not ass in that sense. Remember, one time Keith Thurman offered to fight him because Tim Tszyu lost to him. Because one time Keith Thurman wanted to fight Tim Tszyu once upon a time. And speaking of which, you see where the fuckery happened there. When one time Keith Thurman tried to jump the line, because that's exactly what he did, because he doesn't have any activity. One time Keith Thurman doesn't even belong in the equation. He tried to jump the line because of his name and his marketing ability. So when he tried to jump the line and fight Tim Tszyu, the WBO, this belt, said no. They said no. They said, one time Keith Thurman, we're not going to let you fight for our belt. You're not in the ranking system and you don't deserve it. Although Tim Tszyu fought his mandatory at the time, he has no obligation to a mandatory and he can pick basically who the fuck he wants to fight. All one time Keith Thurman got to do is get into the ranking system, make himself get himself a ranking. We got ourselves a fight. But guess what the WBO said? We are not playing along with this bullshit anymore. If you want to fight our champion for our belt, come into our weight division, work your way up the ranking system. We'll give you a fight. But for right now, we're going to sanction the fight at 155. 1 pound heavier than 154 so that the belt is not on the line. So the Tim Tszyu fight and one time Keith Thurman fight was not going to be for Tim Tszyu's belt. It's going to be at 155. 1 pound away from 154 so that the belt is not on the line. Because the WBO wouldn't sign off on that bullshit. So and then Keith Thurman was going to fight Sebastian Fundora right now, in which I really do believe Sebastian fucked up his hand now, I guess, and the fight has been pulled. Right? Because Sebastian Fundora beat the shit out of fucking tough man Tim Tszyu. That was impressive. To make Tim Tszyu quit, I never thought I would have saw that. Tim Tszyu didn't quit when he had a gash this big on top of his forehead and blood was just flowing out of his face He never quit. He could have went to the scorecard under 4 rounds. That shit happened in the second round. He could have went to the scorecards, kept his belt, walked away, lived to fight another day. He's so fucking tough. He said, fuck that. We're going to keep fighting. Or his corner's so dumb that they didn't. I think they had to know that they talked about it, and Tim wanted to keep fighting. He's too tough for himself. So for Sebastian Fundora to make him quit on the stool, I was like, shit. Sebastian's a puzzle. Yo, that when Sebastian got knocked out, I think that was Brian Mendoza. I think, look, that was a fluke. The power wasn't a fluke. Fact that he dropped him was not a fluke like that, but I think it was a fluke in the sense that he hit a home run. I think if they fight again, Sebastian beats him. I think that one time that dude knocked Sebastian out in that fight. I don't think he beats Sebastian again. The guy that knocked out Sebastian Fundora. I don't think he beats him again. Sebastian is a problem. He's a problem for a lot of reasons. The height and the reach that's a fucking puzzle by itself. He can fight good on the inside. He started his career fighting in the inside. He never utilized his reach ever. And then now in his last 3 fights, he's been utilizing his reach now. It's making him a little bit more dangerous. It actually is. When he got caught by Brian Mendoza, that was one of the first times he was trying to fight long Sebastian. So he was a little awkward because he fought on the inside his entire career, basically, until he started trying to fight on the outside and got knocked out. So he was trying to figure himself out. So he was in that weird place as a fighter where you're going through a transition where you're starting to learn who you are as a fighter. He got caught. But you can see he's starting to fight way better long. Look how he beat the shit out of Tim Tszyu. He picked that man apart long range. Pop, 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 pop. Fucking Tim Tszyu must have been like, they were like, and round 2, pow. Yo, I haven't even got out the fucking corner. And Sebastian's on the other side of the ring. He's so goddamn long. Snap. He's like, yo, did you just hit me from the other side of the ring? Yo, Sebastian Fundora is a problem. He's a problem. He's not the best fighter in the world. He's a problem. He's a fucking problem, bro. You know, he can be beat. Sebastian Fundora can be beat. Yes, he can be beat. He's not the most skilled fighter, but his attributes, what he brings to the table, you can't ignore that. No other fighter is bringing that kind of problem to your doorstep. You got to acknowledge that shit. Tim Tszyu tried to look past that. Fuck his height, fuck his reach. You know what I'm saying? I was bleeding and I took it to him. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take it to him. And I was sitting back trying to tell all of you guys, wasn't I? I was like, yo, guys, you guys do pay attention to what the fuck just happened, right? Tim Tszyu fought him with every fiber, every ounce in his being. Everything. He had blood, intensity, pressure, the fact that he was going to lose his belt, and he was coming at fucking Sebastian with everything he had. And did you not notice he couldn't stop him? So you had the most dangerous version of Tim Tszyu fighting at the highest that he could fight, throwing the hardest punches, and he couldn't beat him. So what made me think that calm and he was going to beat him when the most dangerous version of you, the most desperate version of you, couldn't do the job. So I was thinking Tim Tszyu's going to have a tough night, but not impossible. Not impossible. You can still beat Sebastian Fundora. So when the fight kicked off, Sebastian fought like a champion. That's all I can say. He fought with confidence. He fought with he fought like a champion. For prime example of a fighter that's tall, that once he became a champion, he believed he was a champion. He bought into the image. Espinoza. When Espinoza beat Robersi, who the fuck was Espinoza before he fought Robersi? Tell me. Did any of you guys know who the fuck Espinoza? Don't lie. Don't lie neither. Unless you were fucking Mexican, I bet. Right? But don't lie. Who the hell was Espinoza before Robersi? But let me tell you though, didn't that tall, skinny, lengthy, skinny pull of a man start fighting like a real champion after he won that belt? Since he won that belt, he bought into the concept. Wait a minute. I am a champion. I do belong here. I am as good as these guys. He started fucking them dudes up. That's how I saw Sebastian Fundora fight Tim Tszyu. He finally, that's the only way I can explain it. You could see it in his eyes. He believed he was the champion. He fought like a champion. Like Tim Tszyu didn't mean shit. Like once Tim Tszyu got knocked out by Bakram like that, kind of think it took away the aura. Because let's think about what took place. Let's remember this. That the guy that knocked out Sebastian Fundora, Brian Mendoza, right? The guy that knocked out Sebastian Fundora, Tim Tszyu wiped him down. And when I'm telling you he wiped him down, that dude didn't stand a chance against Tim Tszyu. Did he even win a round? Did he win any round against Tim Tszyu? And he knocked out Sebastian Fundora. Then look how Sebastian Fundora responded to Tim Tszyu and the way he beat Tim Tszyu. When Tim Tszyu beat the guy that knocked him out. That's how boxing works. That's how boxing works. You think this guy beat him, so he should be able to beat him? That's not how boxing works. You can't use the triangle theory in boxing. We've tried it. It doesn't work. That shit don't work. There's a prime example right there. That guy should have beat, Brian Mendoza should have beat Tim Tszyu then. He should have beat Tim Tszyu if he knocked out Sebastian Fundora. He should have beat him. Tim Tszyu wiped him down. It's because of the puzzle that is Sebastian Fundora and the attributes he brings to the table. You gotta fight him different. Go in there and fucking around with Flacco if you want to. You're gonna find out that Flacco can crack. I know a bunch of skinny motherfuckers in the hood that will put your lights out. Shouts out to Keith. Yo, my man in the hood. When I saw that shit, I know you guys don't know nothing about this, but there was this young, black, skinny ass kid. And he was a kid. The reason why I say he was a kid. He was 17 years old. And these dudes fucked around and smacked his sister in the neighborhood. I think that's what it was about. No. The dude that smacked his sister, he stomped a mud hole in that dude. What happened was these other three black brothers, right? And these are grown ass men, right? This kid Keith was like 17, 18 years old, whatever. He was skinny as shit. He might have been 19, right? And we was outside after the after club. It was like 2 a.m. We at the pizza spot where everybody gets shot at, right? Everybody got that kind of neighborhood, and there's that one place that stays open after hours, and all the fights happen there. That's where we were at. So we were there, and I don't know how it started, but one of the 3 brothers started fighting with Keith first. That skinny kid stepped back, boom, and the way he fell, it was like boom, his face hit the concrete. I was like, nice. I was like, yeah. But the other 2 brothers jumped in And they wanted some of it. Bro, moral story, he knocked all three of them out. All three of them out. One by pow out, pow out, pow out. Yo, I was like, I was sitting there like this. I was like, man, listen, Flacco can crack. Yo, and you should see this kid. He's a fucking big. Yo, if Keith weighed 130, I would be shocked. But he was tall. Keith was he's like 5'10". He was tall. He was like almost 6 feet at the time. He a little under 6 feet. He wasn't he wasn't just as because he was just slightly taller than me. So, but he was I'm talking and these dudes he was dropping were big. I mean, the oldest brother was 200 and something pounds. He was easy over 230. The oldest brother. He laid him out like, I was like, yeah. So I know some skinny dudes that can crack, bro. That they just got a God-given ability to fucking hit. So yeah, man. I don't think that Keith Thurman is ever going to be a world champion again, unless he cuts in line. I don't know about that one. What Keith Thurman's going to do from here, but I do know one thing. At 154, everything got interesting since the new arrival of Jaron Boots Ennis. What is Jaron Boots Ennis going to do? And is Jaron Boots Ennis going to fight Sebastian Fundora? Will Jaron Boots Ennis get in with that puzzle? And will Sebastian Fundora take a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis? That's going to be a crazy fight. I don't know how that fight would go because Jaron Boots Ennis' style, he's got like a darting, a lot of angles, but at that height, like how effective is angles going to be? And is he going to be able to hit his chin from, like Sebastian Fundora's kryptonite is the overhand shots. We either left or right, whatever you are, if you're a lefty or righty, it's the overhand. It's the one shot that he falls asleep behind the wheel with because he's always concentrating on going down. So Sebastian Fundora is always throwing down at an angle like this. You see? So his kryptonite is always going to be that over. That would be an interesting fight. I would love to see how Jaron Boots Ennis figures that out. Could Jaron Boots Ennis? Yeah. Out of all the people there, out of all the people at 154, out of all the champions, I'm not going to count the new WBA champion, Abubibi, whatever, how you say his name. I'm sorry if I messed up your name, sir. I know you're a champion. I respect you. I got to get familiar on pronouncing your name, and I mean no disrespect to you. But I believe that Jaron Boots Ennis is going to challenge him for his belt. Maybe. Let's see how that plays out. But Bakram and Jaron Boots Ennis and Xander, or Jaron Boots Ennis and Sebastian Fundora? Who is going to show at 154 that they're going to unify? Who's going to unify first? And if any of them are going to stay, because it's rumored that Xander is already getting too big for 154, that it's time. It's time for him to make that move to 160 and start heading to other divisions. It's already time. So that being said, who's going to be the guy? For me, Xander doesn't have to leave the division, but if he does, I got Jaron Boots Ennis at 154 against all other champions. I'll take Jaron. Because Bakram's good. Bakram's a good. But I don't think Bakram is him. To tell you the truth, I don't think he's him. He had a lot of problems Bakram. Go back and watch some of his fights. Bakram's fights, he had a lot of problems against a few guys. Well, not a lot of guys. Two. What's his name? What's that guy's name? He fought. He had Bakram in all kinds of trouble. I swear to God, I'll get his name. Hold on. It'll come to me. While I think about it, I'll keep he had him in all kinds of trouble, bro. What the fuck was his name? And you got to remember another thing. Okay. And here's another interesting fact. Okay. You know, they say a lot about Bakram and they say a lot about Xander, right? Okay. You guys do know, right, that Xander and Bakram have two common opponents. Two common opponents. Both fighters that Xander fought and Bakram fought, the fuck was that guy's name? Fernando Carnelo? I forget the guy's name that gave him so much trouble. I can't. I gotta look him up on BoxRec or whatever. But the thing is this, right? That Bakram and Xander have two common opponents. You guys do know that Xander knocked out and stopped both of the opponents. That Bakram went the distance with both of them. Xander knocked both of them out in the 5th round. So that when people are saying, "Oh, Xander doesn't want to fight," what are you guys talking about? Xander fought two guys that Bakram fought. And when you look up both how they fared against, fucking Bakram went the distance with both of them. And Xander stopped both of them. So I don't know where these people are like, oh, fucking Xander's scared. I'm like, man, listen, tell you the truth. I try to say this. Xander's probably the better boxer before the arrival of Jaron Boots-Ennis. Before Jaron Boots-Ennis got to 154, push him back. And when Terrence Crawford left 154, when that space was right there, I was saying Xander is actually the better boxer out of all the champions. He's a better boxer than Sebastian Fundora, and he is a technical better boxer than Bakram. He has a better selection of punches. I didn't say he was a harder puncher. I said he was the better boxer than Bakram and Sebastian Fundora. I didn't say he could crack better than both of them. I didn't say none of that. And I didn't say he could beat both of them. All I said was he's the better boxer out of all of them. But now that Jaron Boots-Ennis came into the division, I think that changes. That changes. So, what up? What up? I'm Rican and I trained 4 years consistently. I ain't going just to give Xander that pop. He rightfully is champion. Yeah, okay. All right. He's a young champion. Xander is a young champion. He just got the belt. We got to let the man breathe. He's only 22 years old. By 22 years old, you became a world champion? Congratulations, young man. You feel me? Because now, when you walk into the room, That's what happens when Sebastian Fedora walks in the room. They don't play that song when Virgil walks into the room. Virgil Ortiz. And apparently, to most people, he's already got the boxing community's respect. But Xander has got to earn it. I'm not going to say he's a great champion or he's got to earn it, and he's already made a belt at 22. But this guy that's 27 and up ain't never had a world title. He's got a stamp of approval. Virgil Ortiz. Somehow, he's battle tested. We know that Virgil. Wow, that's a weird way of looking at things when this fucking 22-year-old kid is already a real champion. You know what? Hey, yo, Xander, if you can hear me, stamped, approved. You're the real deal. You're the real deal. I can't approve Virgil shit. You know belt? Might want to get back in the fucking get your ass back in the back of the line. You non-belt having mother. Get your punk ass back there. We only talking to champions. You interim champion holding mother. 2 division interim champion. Maybe if you rub them together, they'll make 1 belt. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking shit. You know what I mean? Yo, what's right is right, bro. What's right is right. I would be pissed if I worked all those years and I became a champion and they were fucking talking an interim champion like it's better than me when I got the real belt. I would feel some kind of way. I would definitely. And then the criticism of the people and the public talking about, oh no, you ain't ready. You ain't do this. I ain't ready so much that I got a belt. I'm not ready so much that I did. Look, same shit with Rolly. I used to say, how the fuck did Rolly Ramirez become a champion? Somebody explain that to me. How the hell, with those skills, did you become? But you want to know something? He did it. He did it. Not only did he do it once, he became a champion multiple times. Rolly. With those skills. What the fuck can you say? I'm going to tell you right now. Is it true or is it not true that Rolly Ramirez is a greater champion than Virgil Ortiz? Is he a better fighter? Probably not. Better champion? 100%. 100. So before you shoot down the fighters like Rolly, hold up. At least do some Rolly shit. At least beat a man like Rolly is. Rolly went into fights he wasn't supposed to win. Rolly had his equal. Rolly's been in there with Tank. Rolly's been in there with Ryan Garcia, and he beat Ryan Garcia. Who the fuck did Ortiz? Where's his Ryan Garcia? Where's his Tank Davis? Where? And you see what I'm saying? And I can tell you right now, publicly, Virgil's a lot better fighter than Rolly. Come on, guys, right? Virgil has way more skills than Rolly. Then why is Rolly the better champion? Why is Rolly got a better resume? Why does Rolly got multiple world championships? But this dude he's way better. Or is he? Amongst his peers, among your division, what do you do with the people around you? What are you doing? I don't know. I don't know. But I look at Rolly different now. Bro, I look at Rolly so different now. I respect that man. I respect that man so much. Because he's the definition of, if you dream big enough, it doesn't matter if God didn't bless you with the greatest skills. You know the difference between Rolly and a lot of these other guys? Rolly didn't quit. Rolly wasn't the fastest mover. He wasn't the biggest puncher. He didn't have the best jab. He just showed up every fucking day. And he was always there. And he was in position to take these fights. He didn't say no. And Rolly fucking, like, you gotta admit, he took his lumps. He got knocked out, lost and shit and whatever. And, he's an attraction. But you gotta admit, fucking Rolly, bro, he did it, bro. That motherfucker did it. That motherfucker really did it, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Hold on a second. Yo. All right. So, yeah. Xander hasn't anybody as good as Virgil in his last 3 opponents. Chino was good. In fact, Chino was so good, he beat Conwell. That's kind of like beating Conwell. Because it wasn't like Chino fought him 5 fights ago, beat him, and then fought Xander. No, he's coming off of beating him in his last fight. So that fight was fresh. That victory was fresh with Chino. When he beat Conwell the way he beat him. You see what I'm saying? And the way that Xander outboxed him, because that's what he did. He just outboxed him. For your first title fight, you're 22 years old. You're coming in. And a lot of people have a lot to say about you. His knockout ratio, Xander's, is pretty deceiving. Because if you go back and you watch Xander's fights, he had a bunch of these guys in a lot of trouble. He fought guys that knew how to survive. He had guys staggering in the ring, hurt, ducking and weaving. Some of those fights could have been stopped by the referee. But the referee was too busy doing his laundry and his grocery list. I got to pick up eggs, bread, while this guy's getting fucking pummeled. And some of those fights Xander was in, they should have stopped him. But that's why his knockout percentage is not as higher than it should be. That's 1. 2, you go into your fight, 22 years old, first world title fight. What do you think your coach is telling you? Go in there, kid, and knock him out. Hell the fuck no. He's definitely not telling you that. You know what he's telling you? Fight smart. You think you can knock this guy out? I don't care you can knock this guy out, Xander. You know what I would need you to do? Bring that belt back home. Fight smart, stay to the game plan, and do not veer, son. This is not the fight you want to take chances. This is not the time you want to play Mr. Puerto Rico and give the fans some oohs and ahs. You know what I need you to do? I need you to win. And I need you to stay focused, son. This is what I trained you for your entire life. And when I mean that coach trained Xander like that for his entire life, that is Xander Zayas' amateur coach. His entire fucking career has been with that coach. What do you think he told them? What do you think he told young Xander Zayas? Zayas. Yo, bring the belt back. Don't get cocky in there. Don't do what I did not tell you to. If you got him hurt, fine, you got him hurt. Resettle, keep whooping his ass. That's it. I didn't ask you to knock him out. I didn't ask you to get cute in there, Xander. I ask you to listen to me and do exactly what I tell you, son. And I think that's exactly what Xander did. I think Xander could have stepped on the gas at a couple. There was he had Chino in some trouble, caught him good. Chino caught Xander good in a couple exchanges, but Xander was, for the most part, just straight up outboxing him. Straight up. Son, you're winning the fight like this. Don't get cute on me. This is not the time in the moment to do that. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep winning. That's all I ask you to do. Do what we worked on in the gym. Hey, pay attention. Stay with me. I'm going to go up. No, I don't want you to do any of that shit. Do what I asked you to do. He brought the belt back home. We're going to see Xander. We're going to see when they let the leash off Xander. You can tell that they still got a tight hold on him. You can tell. They haven't let him go yet. Because Xander has a lot to learn. He's only 22 years old. So you can tell that to a certain extent, they still, he's not the quarterback that can call his own plays. He's still got to do what the coach tells him to do. There's only few quarterbacks in NFL that can go out there and change the play. They can audible. I see something. Nope. You over here. Flip back this way. Run this way. Fuck what the coach is saying. I'm telling you what to do. They have the ability to do that because they're fucking nasty and they're good. But when you got a young quarterback, he's got to be coached. When you got a young fighter, he's got to be coached. Can't let the fucking training wheel off. No. You're not ready to make your decisions. Do what I asked you to do. You can tell, I can tell anyway, that's exactly how they got Xander. There will be a point in time where they will let that go. They're going to have to. I believe in him. I believe in him. I believe in Xander. I believe him. There's a lot of great fighters in these eras, but a lot of these fights are not being made. Some are, yes. A lot of them are not being made for some reason. Well, anyway, that was the 135 weight division. Let's see what happens at 154. Different guys, different, maybe these guys might grow some balls and fucking fight each other. You know what I mean? Not like that fiasco down there at 135 when we were calling them fools the Four Horsemen. They didn't deserve that shit. Not one of them dudes that we call the Four Horsemen lived up to the Four Horsemen. And it was a disrespect to the real Four Horsemen to call those guys the Four Horsemen of boxing. That was a disrespect. And we soon had to find that out. And the beginning when we called them the Four Horsemen, it sounded like a good idea, didn't it? It was like, oh yeah, look at the talent we got now. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, freaking Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. Four Horsemen. Let's go. Right there. None of them motherfuckers fought each other except Ryan. Ryan is the only real one out of all of them. Ryan fucking fought everybody. And Loma should have been one of the horsemen, technically, but he was older. What made them the Four Horsemen was the fact that they were good and their youth. They were all roughly the same age. See, our Four Horsemen didn't fight each other till the tail ends of their career. They finally fought each other because they weren't on the same age. You got to remember, Hitman Hearns was 23 years old when he was fighting these dudes in their 30s. Hitman Hearns was the baby. He was too young, but Flacco can crack. Another skinny dude that can crack. And Hitman Hearn, when he fought like Roberto Duran was fucking washed. When he knocked Roberto Duran out, he was just an old man. He was a shell of himself. So their Four Horsemen era, I mean, they did have a Four Horsemen, but they were off on age and off on their careers. They didn't come up like this Four Horsemen should have. We technically should have had a better version of the Four Horsemen, a better representation, and we should have saw our Four Horsemen repeatedly fight each other and knock each other off. For years, we were supposed to watch that. We were supposed to watch Teofimo Lopez fight Tank, Tank fight Devin, Devin fight Tio, Tio fight fucking Ryan Garcia, Ryan Garcia fight Tank, like that. That's what we were supposed to watch throughout the time, but we never got it, did we? You feel me? So that's why you know, until it happened, I was all for it. I was, yeah, this Four Horsemen, but it didn't pan out, did it? It really didn't pan out. So yeah. So fight fans, thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna go work out. I have a morning session that I was gonna go do. I cut one of them out because yesterday I felt like I overworked myself. I fucking did like 3 things and shit. Like in the morning, I jogged at 5 in the morning. Then I worked out in the afternoon. Then I went in at 5 to try to go spar, and I was just like beat. I was exhausted. So today, I'm gonna wait, and then spread it out a little bit, within the time, and then go in today at 5 and see if I can get some sparring in today. My coach wants me to get some sparring in, but the 2 days that I was supposed to, one day I didn't go, and then the next time he didn't. My sparring partner didn't show up yesterday. He didn't come. So today I gotta get some sparring in. So I'm gonna go in, get some sparring in today, wrap up this training camp, and you know what I'm saying, and we should be seeing, you guys should be seeing me November 8th at Border Wars. Well, I'm gonna come on, obviously, all the way leading up into that point. And if you want to help support Round One Sports Talk, you could drop any of your support, any of the love, in the Cash App right here, Cash App below, or in the super chats. That will be going towards any of my gear, or rental cars, or hotel payments, or food. Anything would really help me out, you know, and living out my dream of having one more fight. So thank you, fight fans, for tuning in. Thank you for hanging around. Please don't forget to give these videos a like, share the videos. If you haven't already, I encourage you to be a Round One Sports Talk member, and subscribe to the channel. So, fight fans, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. You guys have been the best. Have a blessed day. God bless you guys. And I'm out. Peace.